Figure out a way to get those all around the city.
Your eye.
Hello, everyone. This is the Environmental and Tree Advisory Commission. And we are going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:04. Welcome, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
I'm going to call the roll to get attendance. Let me find my sheet. Let's see. Gabe is not here. Bill Burry.
Present.
Let's resign. Jamie Dye.
Yes. Present.
Steve Emrine.
Here.
Thank you.
What do we want?
Linda Lucas.
Here.
Jody Haney.
Here.
Mark Ehrman.
Here.
Myself here. And Rob Schuster.
Here.
Okay, thank you. So I passed out a few items for the meeting. Well, one, ODNR recommends us having the tree board handbook from the Arbor Day Foundation. So the city was kind enough to get one of these books for everyone on the committee. So we have this to kind of review and guide us as we're trying to get together all the things for taking care of our tree canopy. And then I'd also printed out, had Casey print out a couple items for, as a part of our Tree Academy class. We have talked about an urban forestry management plan, which the street tree design plan is a part of that. So we've already got, we got that completed and all the data collected. We're now going on to getting the medium small trees. And so council approved that the other day because we need to get it officially approved. So that's happened, I think at the last council meeting. And then, so I passed out to everyone an example. So Jamie had sent a City of Waterville, their tree commission strategic plan, an example to go off of. Waterville has some pretty great stuff. They have a pretty great tree commission. So it's great to look at their materials as a good template to kind of go from. And then also community forestry management plan template. That was the other one, right? So those two items, which we can talk about more later. I have it as part of the agenda. So let's see. So first item on the agenda is Tree City USA Awards update. We just had a meeting about that the other day. Do you wanna-
Yeah, so we met with 3 ODNR reps to kind of work on planning it. There are still some things that we need to figure out. It's not until May, so we're still figuring things out with the Elks Club. Another thing is that it's typically opened by the mayor, but Margot said Chelsea thinks she's going to be on vacation. So we are looking at options for who could open the meeting. Mark might have a contact who could do a land statement for us, which would be really interesting. And then we have some other people that we could ask if that doesn't work out, that could just kind of welcome everyone and give a little bit about Mommy. Then Margot is going to be the MC, and she will also be the rep from the Tree Commission. So she'll talk about kind of the past, present, future of Mommy's Tree Commission. We firmed up the schedule for the day, and we've also kind of finalized the program. Jody has arranged for some local students to come. They're going to teach us how to use a clinometer and measure trees using the NASA Globe Observer app. Then Brian Campbell from NASA is going to talk about some of the NASA tree campaigns and how they use citizen scientists. So I think those will be really interesting topics, and it'll be nice to have both the involvement of the students and then how the tree commissions can actually use that app. Margot is going to start drafting the graphics for letters, invitations, agenda, and the map, and we'll kind of start to review that at our next meeting. And that's kind of just like a brief overview of where things are. We did submit for a Tree City and also for a Growth Award, so we'll see where that goes.
And this is the event where those are given out?
Yeah,
So,
What's the date?
of the event. It's
May 13th.
May 13.
yeah.
When you say NASA,
Yes,
what is that abbreviation? You don't mean,
yes.
like,
Yeah, Jody has amazing contacts, and yeah.
She's on the phone.
Do you
that's why
want to
I
talk
point.
about it all, Jody? Oh, maybe.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, it's hard to hear. Pull the mic down.
So Steve was wondering more about the NASA representative that agreed to talk at the Tree City Awards.
Yeah, he's going to do that virtually, so we'll have, Zoom or something rolling. And he leads it's called the Trees Campaign for NASA and the GLOW program. So people all over the world use an app or a paper version and measure tree heights and enter that data onto the web. And then what NASA does with that data is they use it to help kind of calibrate their satellites. So satellites are monitoring heights of trees and icebergs and things like that from space. And so by having kids monitor, or anyone, any age person monitor trees from the ground, measuring the tree, it helps know if the satellites are measuring accurately. So it's a really cool collaboration, and they need ground observers measuring trees to help their models, their satellite models. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like
So he'll
citizen.
share all that. I'm sure he'll share some NASA visualizations of, the satellites and what they see, and then what the ground, how we measure the trees from the ground and connect all that. I think will be his talk.
Sounds great. So we get to
Thanks.
all be citizen scientists?
That's right. That's what this is all about, is having everyone, they call it K to gray, measure the height of trees.
I'm glad.
We got
Boy.
Gray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers most of what we talked about.
Okay. So I just wanted to bring up the Environmental Tree Advisory Commission member replacement recommendations. Bill sent, we talked about it at the last meeting. We had Dave submit a letter. Bill sent out an email about if anyone, had someone that might be interested. So we can pass those along to our new mayor for appointments in the new year. So once again, if you guys have any recommendations you would like considered, we have, where's my, I think it's two openings. Yes, 2 openings. Well, let's see. Well, we have possible 2. We have 1 right now. So, go ahead and submit for, if you're interested. So, okay. See, that was quick. And then the tree ordinance update, we were looking at the tree ordinance, or we've been looking at since our tree academy spurred a lot of actions, essentially, and the tree ordinance hasn't been looked at for a very, very long time. So we've been working with our ODNR reps, and Haley's going to be our new rep. So she's a newer employee at ODNR. But Stephanie Miller has been there for years and years and years, has a ton of experience, and she's been our rep for a very long time. So Haley kind of helped us go through the ordinance and create some suggestions, kind of go through some potential changes. Stephanie is going to be looking over that. We have a meeting scheduled for, it's actually not till January 5th, to go over kind of her thoughts and possible suggestions she has. So with that being said, there was also, we just met with them the other day for our Tree City Awards update, and she had mentioned something she saw in the environmental ordinance that she thinks might be good to kind of adjust or modify slightly. So we're possibly going to, I need to talk to Alan and Casey about delaying the third reading of the ordinance, because the council has read it. It's been read twice now at council meetings. So delaying the third one to potentially like the second meeting in January, so we can have that meeting with Stephanie on the 5th, and she can help us with some of her suggested edits, because that was just the first we could get together with the holidays. So we won't be able to do it before, like in enough time before the meeting on the 5th. So that's, I guess, kind of an update on that, but so that's still kind of in the works. Once we get those recommendations, we'll pass it along to the law director to review and get any suggestions he might have, and then that's when the commission will get it to take a look at it and see if we have any input to then be able to recommend to council. And so we passed out the the urban forest management annual schedule at the last meeting to commission members to be able to take a look at. So we are wondering if anyone has any thoughts about that or any additions. So I'll open that up too.
Yeah, I was just asking Bill do we know what Maumee's tree canopy is at the present?
The percentage.
We did at one point, because I remember being told what it was. We've lost, what, 30% over?
Well, we've lost 30%, but it's down.
How much have we gotten back, yeah.
Sorry?
Said how much have we gotten back is the question, I assume.
No, it's how much do we have now? But from when it was originally figured out, we have lost 30% of that. But I don't know, and I don't remember what the original figure was, and we probably should just kind of try and figure out what the percentage is now, and go from there.
So I know council did approve the city working with Power Clean Future Ohio. And I don't know if you guys remember from the presentation, we did a presentation for that, right? That was one of the things that they can help us with.
Right.
So I mean, maybe that's something we ask them to do for us. It's a free service.
Do we know how that gets figured? I mean, do you just look at an aerial shot of Maumee and give it a rough guess?
I don't know how they do it. I know, like, there's been talk in the past about having it done, and the people would use, I don't remember if it was like satellite imagery
Right.
to figure it out and calculate it, but I don't know how Power Clean Future Ohio does it without asking them.
So, I just pulled up the Tree Equity Score website, and they do have like current canopy cover based for the different areas in Maumee. And it says the footprint of trees when viewed from above the bird's eye view of tree crowns. So that's how they calculate it. I don't know if that's how it's always calculated, but it ranges from like 41% to 9% in Maumee, based on different areas. So that's one of the things that we have tried to look at
But
for
it
the
doesn't do
future.
it doesn't do a whole town percentage.
Not at least on the part I'm looking
Right.
at right now.
Yeah, I wasn't able to find it.
But I would say, so, I mean, technically, this would be like a new agenda item maybe for another meeting. I was just more specifically asking like the schedule that we
Yeah.
brought up. But it's a good thing to bring up. It is something that Power Clean Future Ohio can help us with. So maybe that's something that we can look into and then bring to another meeting to discuss, because we're not ready to do that
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Did anyone have any thoughts about the management annual schedule that was handed out at the last meeting, the colorful schedule? This was something that we did at our Tree Academy class. And then we did meet with our public service director and another member of service to discuss this.
And Jennifer.
And Jennifer, our finance director. And they're very interested in having something to go by and having some sort of schedule in place. So they were excited about this. So we're trying to get back to having that
Yeah,
in
I think
place.
it's a great idea. It seems like it's ambitious to me to look at all those responsibilities month by month and try to accomplish it, but I think it's a great goal.
Well, and that's why, I mean, we used to have a Department of Natural Service Resources, and that was one of the things that essentially that they were supposed to do, at least based on our classes. It seems like that is something that that department usually does. I don't know how long it's been since Mommy has. But, so we're just trying to get these sorts of things back in place. Did someone raise their hand? Or did I just see? No? Okay. Saw movement.
Do you have any extra copies of that?
No, you could have mine though. I've got a digital copy.
Okay.
You want me to just pass?
Actually, there was a whole pile that I don't think we have over there.
And do you have any other copies of the book?
Yeah,
Okay.
bringing all this to you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys all sat over here.
Thank you, Margot.
Yep. Okay, so the next item on the schedule or on the agenda is just a Tree Academy update. So originally, we talked about, they were supposed to be hosting another Tree Academy classes this year, and it was supposed to be in Kenton. That has gotten postponed. We don't know when it's going to be now, if it's going to be this year, I'm not sure. So I just wanted to let everyone know. My thought was, maybe we do, again, we bump it up when we, if you guys haven't already, send an email to Casey and have her put you on a list, so then when we do find out where it's going to be next, she can get you guys signed up, so we're not scrambling kind of last minute for like the deadline.
Remind me how many days or,
So it's 2 days per level throughout the year. So like freshman year is 2 days in a row.
And
So,
yeah, quarterly.
It's every
yeah,
quarter.
quarterly.
Yeah.
It's 2 days every quarter.
okay.
And we did reach out to Stephanie about potentially hosting one and having like a whole series in Maumee, because we would like to have some service people attend also and other staff. And it's just easier if it's nearby. So we were looking into what that would take.
It sounded like it was a possibility though, right? She made
Yeah.
it
It's a
seem like.
possibility, but it's probably not going to be until 2027 or 2028, because it's already.
Yeah, Kenton signed up for this
Kenton's
next
the
one, right?
And then I think somebody signed up after that.
Okay.
So it's a matter of Kenton being able to host it when the time comes. They're going to do it.
Yeah, they're going to do it, but it's a matter of ODNR being able to handle it with their schedule.
They might do several at the same time though, like they did this year. There were
Yeah,
2 or 3
right.
going this year.
Okay.
So if you are interested, it would be 2 days per quarter, and they're full days, like 9 to 3.
Sure.
So each quarter. So, and it could be potentially driving somewhere as far as Kenton. We drove to Sandusky, but we carpooled, so we all just went in one car. So yes, reach out to Casey. We're trying to also, Service is thinking about and seeing who might be interested in that department to also go. And then it's something too, if like new council members are able or wanting, you guys can let Casey know as well, because it's definitely opens your eyes to how much you need to do for the tree canopy that we like never realized. Then, so the next item, I have the large map out on the table there. That's the street tree design master plan. So we mentioned at the last meeting that we need to get that into like an Excel sheet. So right now we have, I believe, all large canopy trees selected on the map. But And on any given street, there's usually a larger median side of the street and or a smaller side. And then there's always one side that has power lines of some sort, at least usually, especially in the older parts. And then one side that does not. So we've picked the large canopy trees. We need to get that implemented into an Excel sheet. But then, has Haley sent that yet with the other,
Yeah.
the medium and small? Okay, so ODNR sent us an Excel sheet that has kind of the companion trees for the trees that, the large canopy trees that have been selected. So they have a sheet that tells you what should be the companion medium or small tree. So when we do that Excel sheet, we need to also choose a medium and a small tree for that street. So depending on, when trees are going to be planted on that street, depending on which side they're going to be planted on, people at the city know what tree should be planted there.
Because it varies based on how wide the tree lawn is, if there are wires overhead. So we need to have options for every block.
Yeah. And so the map is divided into sections already. And do you remember how many sections there are, Bill?
On this map, there are 4 sections, and they mirror the leaf pickup
Okay.
section.
So my thought was, Jamie and I were talking about a little earlier, you guys please weigh in. My thought was 4 people could sign up to look at the map and input that data into an Excel sheet. So we could each take a section. Bill, you said you had a few of the large copies, right, of the map?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
I've
would
got a
have enough
copy.
to give?
I have a copy for each individual on the committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So at the very least, the 4 that sign up, but Bill, if you are interested, he can give you a map, even if you aren't signing up. But I figure you get a full-size map, so you are more likely to be able to read what the tree is, although it is people's handwriting. So if you did have a question, you can just let us know, because Mark, Bill, Jamie, myself, Mary, is that who all did the collecting? Stephanie? I don't think she did any writing, though. So
Yeah, she
one of
did,
us can, one of us can read the handwriting.
Yeah.
And then I scanned in all the, Casey did for me, all the urban site index, is all the data collection sheets that we used in the field to get those results. And so I can provide each person with a PDF of all that. So if there's a spot we're unsure of, so we did each, there's sections of trees. They don't always go like a full block because the block is too large. So on do we do it on that? We do it on that map too.
Oh, yeah.
So on that map, we marked the address where we stopped and started a new segment. So these sheets can help you find where you're at in case you need kind of extra help, like where we started and stopped, once again, if you can't read it. So I can send this in digital format, so it can just kind of help you with that.
But Margot, are we talking about looking at all the streets again in regard to medium or small
No,
plantings?
well,
We don't have to go out and look at the streets,
no.
because we already know
What's
the
there.
specified tree is, and the spreadsheet allows you to go to, if it's a large tree, they have recommendations for a medium tree and for a small tree, depending on the tree that was picked for that segment.
So like a companion tree, a
So
small
if
and a
you
medium
pick a-
companion tree.
So if you pick, say, silver maple is, for the main tree, there is a medium and a small recommendation
That's already given on the
attached
Excel
to
sheet.
that.
Yeah.
Depending on the circumstance of
So if you
Not
look
on the
at,
tree.
if you look at that map and it says, like if it says White Oak, you go to this Excel sheet that the ODNR gave us, and it already says what, next to White Oak, this is a corresponding medium tree, this is a corresponding small tree.
Right.
So you would just use those trees on the Excel sheet that we're creating. So if you go out to the street and, the other side is the side that has the large tree lawn, and your side is only 4 foot wide, then you need to go to the small tree that was selected, so that,
Yeah, okay, that's what I needed to know what we
Yeah.
were doing. To take care of the medium and small
Yeah.
choices.
yeah.
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 Okay.
And so, for example, in like the sheet, which they sent us a sheet that we can then fill in.
Yes, they sent
yeah.
an Excel file,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Can you can then, can you input that into, so we were thinking we could do a Google sheet. So everyone can kind of work on that sheet on their own. Is that the best way to do it? Or should we do our own Excel and then kind of in the end implement it all into a Google sheet? Is there a preference? Okay. Well, since we already have the Excel sheet, maybe we just go ahead, use the Excel sheet, and then we can implement it into Google if we want everyone to be able to access it.
Sounds good.
Okay. So any volunteers?
Yeah, I'll be able to work on that.
I'll be working
Okay.
on it.
Okay. So we should assign sections, which I have a smaller sheet of the sections. And someone who's closer, but Linda, could you tell us what the sections are so we can, we have volunteers? What's that?
A, B, D1, and D2, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
A, B1, B2, and D? D1. Okay. One.
I think there was D.
I was wondering if Uptown is supposed to be its own, I don't know. It's hard to tell where the black lines are.
So that could be our C, Uptown. So then that would mean we would need 5.
The leaf collection map has A, B, C, and D, so I'm not sure why we have D1 and D2.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on this map, Key Street divides, so A and D are to the west of Key Street, and C and B are to the east.
Does that go along with that, Bill? Right?
C is north of the trail and east of Key.
And what's that labeled? Okay, so that's C? Would you say that was?
B is below the trail.
So what we can do, we should just make a decision. Do we want to do it based on the leaf separation, or do we want to do it based on what that is? And we can number them ourselves if we want, or, okay. Can you mark that, please? Can you catch? Or that?
So A is, Illinois, the river. Went to, Toledo. Anthony Trail at the top.
there any trees in that area?
Oh, yeah,
No.
Well, I mean, even if there isn't, we're going to put trees there, so that's guiding it. So we're all right.
And D2 goes from E, Anthony Wayne to the turnpike.
What about C? So there is one, is
Are
no
we
C?
doing C or no?
B to the turnpike and Anthony Wayne to the turnpike. Right.
Okay. Thank you. And you marked all those?
Yeah,
Okay,
And we can just make an overlay
right.
and send it out.
yeah, okay. So we had 3. I'll do it too. It's 4.
I can do it.
Rob? Okay, we have 5.
Right.
So Mark, or Rob, Mark, Bill, Jamie, Margot.
And what were you volunteering for?
It's for creating an Excel sheet to
Just inputting the data.
input the data.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the sample one that,
Good.
once again, it's one from Waterville that ODNR had provided us. And so we'll just take that and like it's street, direction, segment start, segment end. It's very similar to our USI thing that we filled out. So it's the USI score, the class, whether it's large, medium, small. What's PRI? Oh, that's on here.
It is.
I can't remember either. And we need to figure out what that stands for. I don't see it on here. Our
Public
notes
Radio
section.
International.
What's that?
Public radio.
I don't think that's what it is for, Mark, but
Okay.
it might be somewhere else.
Privacy trees,
Privacy?
PRI trees, like we refer to privacy.
I don't,
1, 2, 3.
Oh, no, photochemical reflectance index.
I don't think that's. But there's lots of options for PRI. Maybe they just,
It was related to trees, so it's
okay. We will ask ODNR what that stands for. So then it's any notes that we had, so in the field, we had the back, you could write notes. And then you put what the large canopy tree is, and the medium and small. So those are the items you need to
Yep.
fill
so
out.
do we just want to assign those now? Which person has which one?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yep. Does anyone want to?
You can make the call.
I'm just going to do it in
Yeah,
order
just do it.
of the
That's
names
great.
I wrote down.
Yeah.
So Rob has A, Mark has B, Bill has C, Jamie has D1, and Margot has D2. Okay?
Are we gonna get the information emailed to us? or-
So I'll email the digital packet of the urban site index,
Okay.
because I have that. Bill will get you the
We'll get you a map.
the printout of the map. I can also email you, I think it got sent the other day by Casey. So we already sent the digital file of the map.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to print out or you lose it or you spill something on it, whatever, you'll have that to look at too.
Okay.
And I mean, you could always just kind of crop out your section and
Right.
so you can just focus on
Or
that.
are we using just like one Google Doc that's,
So we'll send out the Excel sheet,
Okay.
and then, so you can just have that you're working on and send it to us when you're finished.
Perfect.
So,
Do I
map,
think I could figure it out. If not, I'll ask.
okay.
You guys are here to help.
Yeah, everyone has our contact information, so if you have any questions. All right, so that's the Excel sheet. So urban forestry management plan or strategic plan, Casey sent out a couple digital files, and then I believe she did, and I had her print out some paper copies of some templates for the urban forestry management plan. It's something that Mommy needs to create. The street tree master design plan is a part of that urban forestry plan. So it's something we need to start working on. So I at least wanted to get the examples out there. And I guess we can discuss, what are we thinking next steps? I know we talked about it. So I think we were thinking we kind of get together and put together kind of a template for Mommy, what we were thinking, kind of like what we're doing with the tree ordinance too. So a group of us can break off, get together, and create, kind of input the information into that. And then we can go over it, well, we'll probably go over it with our ODNR rep when doing that, go over it with her. And then, once again, have Alan look at it and then have the committee look at it and give input. But I think it would be very helpful if everyone just kind of makes themselves familiar with the template. You can start making some notes on that now and give suggestions, because we're going to be working on that for a while. So if any given meeting you have some input or some suggestions to share as we're working on it, that would be great. I think it makes sense that.
Is this the template?
Yeah, so I gave 2 different templates. Just like 2, one of them's like a Waterville one, I
Yeah,
believe.
that.
Yeah, and then one was one I think ODNR
So I
had.
think what Stephanie said with Watervilles is they were doing their urban forestry management plan, and she read it and she's like, this isn't really it, but this is really cool. So they ended up with a tree commission strategic
plan.
which is a little different than the urban forestry management plan, but
Okay.
she thought both, like the Waterville one is excellent. It's just not exactly what they were supposed to be doing.
Well, so maybe people, you look at the 2 examples, tell us what you think we should
Yeah.
work on, which you kind of prefer, because I feel like when I just looked real quickly at Watervilles, it just seems to make easier sense. Like it's more like plain language.
Right.
Which I always appreciate. I think it's helpful for most people to read something like that, and we want it to be helpful to people and easy to
Well, and this is
use.
not only going to be for us, this is going to be for everyone.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody who has an interest will be able to look at this and understand what the ideas are.
Your microphone, you're really far away.
Yeah, okay.
It does make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Should I say it?
So just to confirm, if you guys take a look at
I'll
both,
move.
I think it seems like we're thinking about the Waterville one, but we'd like everyone's input, obviously. So,
Well, and I think some of it on the master plan one, just the fact that I teach this for business, people use strategies and objectives interchangeably and actions, and sometimes they'll actions or projects or things. So a lot of it is just who wrote it, their terminology.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we could do things like
So Linda will be a benefit
choose
on
which
this.
term we prefer, right?
I can be a hard taskmaster on it.
Yes.
Good.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Project manager.
So we'll get lots of notes from Linda.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, it's just pretty much more of an introduction, so everyone starts thinking about it. So everyone should have the, I'm gonna kind of skip real quick. Everyone should have the schedule, the 2026 schedule, for like our educational events every month. I've sent it digitally. If you need it resent, let me know. Because I just want to make sure everyone's kind of aware of what they signed up for. Because like the items that need filled in, if we're using the library space, like we've talked about before, you can't book it until 60 days before. Now, we did talk about creating some sort of sheet that we can fill out to like you can fill out for your event to be able to give to us so that some sort of flyer can be created. So we need to do that, but you can also look at past ones and, get an idea. We need a headshot of whoever's kind of like speaking, presenting, a blurb of what the event's going to be about. If there's some other sort of imagery that works well with it, provide that. Like for the movie events, they've got the posters that already come with the movie, like the marketing posters, so that's usually included. Some sort of title for the event, or let us know if you need help with that based on like the blurb. We should be able to come up with something. Date, time, location. So the first one is at the indoor on January, well, that's not the first one. So that was going to be the first one. So Rob's event got moved from December to January. And it is the 20th, right? 20th at 6 p.m. at the library. So do you want to say what you're going to be talking about?
So I'm going to be talking about how climate change is impacting our area, Maumee, Northwest Ohio, and then steps we can take from an individual level all the way up to the federal government on how to mitigate and adapt to our changing climate.
And we've got that flyer already done. Nope, perfect. Nancy has it up. So that'll be going out. And then the other event we already had for January was the movie at the indoor theater on the 29th. So it's called Sugarcane. So that is set to show then. It's doors open at 6, the movie starts at 6:30, like what we usually do. And then, we can talk about then so the February one is street tree design plan. So that's you, Bill. So as of now, you could get on the library's website and pick a date.
I will do that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So have that by the next meeting, or send that in an email with all the information we need for a flyer.
Okay.
And then the next one after that will be Mark. That's March, the spotted lanternfly traps. So start thinking about that. So I just wanted to go over that. We've gone over kind of like the overall year's plan, so we'll just kind of do the next ones like per meeting. And then the final thing on the agenda is a conversation about data centers. Council has gotten a lot of emails from people in the area and had a lot of people come to council meetings to speak during citizens' comments about a potential of a data center in the Fallen Timbers area. I had given a sheet of potential kind of questions for a city to ask. That was a handout that was given to us by one of the people that came to speak at a meeting, I think at our last meeting. And then Rob went ahead and came up with some items to consider and put it together on a sheet and handed it out to everyone today. So the thought was not to necessarily, not do any sort of action tonight, but just continue the conversation, since obviously it's a popular topic right now, not just in Maumee, but all over, even more than just the country. So I wanted to share a conversation I had with a friend of mine that is in the Columbus area. I talked to him about the data centers in the New Albany area. And I kind of want to give you guys just kind of like a rundown of some things he had talked to me about and told me about it. So he essentially said how, New Albany's is like a data center cluster, essentially. There's a bunch of different data centers all in one area.
Can you just explain who your friend is so we understand?
So he's a planner in the area, and he's done work with New Albany over the years, at least in the past. I'm not sure if he currently does, but he's plugged into kind of like the planning scene in the Columbus area. So I knew he would know or have had some experience with kind of the data centers in that area. So he told me that so one of the things that they look for a data center is like a big flat land with big transmission lines nearby, which that land was that. I guess it was land that was annexed into Licking County, and part of it's in Licking County. They decided that there was no residential allowed to be built there, so there was some existing homes, but for future development for that plot of land, like it was decided that residential was not an option for that land. So it left huge amounts of land that couldn't be developed into residential. For whatever reason, well, I guess some of the reasons I just mentioned, data centers ended up being something that was considered and decided to go in to that area. He said that the city of New Albany, they essentially came up with some sort of, they called it a payment in lieu of tax structure. So they figured out like an average amount of what employment might be in that area for like an income tax, because that's usually how municipalities get money from businesses that come in, and that's how we pay for everything pretty much is income taxes, most everything. So they came up with an amount for that space it was taking up that, because data centers don't have a whole lot of jobs that come along with it. So they figured out what that area could potentially bring in income tax, and that is what the data centers were paying the city of New Albany. So it's for a limited amount of time. He wasn't sure exactly kind of how long, but it's not something that goes on in perpetuity. So it's not like as long as the data center's there, you're gonna be getting that sort of like income tax. Is that?
Why?
Because why is there no jobs there?
No, why?
Why is it temporary?
Why is that expired?
Why is it temporary? The building doesn't go anywhere.
I don't know.
That's how they set it up.
Yeah. In talking to some people at the city of New Albany, they said they really have not had any complaints about them until recently. There was a group of people that were coming in. I think it was the people that have the existing homes there just recently. So these have been there for quite a while. He thought he knew at least until 2015. The law director just went down for the visit yesterday, and Alan told me that he said that they've been there since 2010. So they could have been. And so just recently they were having issues with the cooling system making some sort of noise. But they said it sounds like that's been dealt with. And so it was something that came up. It wasn't like a constant thing. There must have been something with the cooling system that they were having issues with, and it was causing like a noise that was bothersome to the nearby residents. And it sounds like it's something that's been fixed. He said that, water is definitely was a thing early on, but now that they've been kind of revamping things, they do a lot of, they'll use gray water, so they'll reuse the water instead. Which I think the one person that was here at the planning commission meeting had mentioned he mentioned antifreeze. Yeah. So I think there's a variety of different ways they're kind of getting around the usage of water that has happened in the past, like initially. He said that electricity is definitely a legitimate thing and rates have gone up. He said, but the state of Ohio allows data centers. So, your rates can go up and you can have a data center in your community and you'll be getting some sort of financial benefit, or your rates can go up because there's data centers going in and there's no benefit to it. So there's the thoughts that there's thoughts out there that it is likely like a kind of NIMBY kind of thing. Don't want it in our backyard. But a very good point to bring up is, do we use AI in the cloud? We do. So I think it's one of the things that people need to consider is, so would you be willing to give up AI in the cloud? I would be. I don't care if I have a flip phone. But most people would not be. So it's just something that needs to be considered. Like, would you be willing to give up this thing? To be able to say you don't want it in your backyard? Because it has to go somewhere. Yes.
With that being said, I mean, there's still talks that the face reacting to it now, rather than, already taking that land for that. Probably moving so fast. We could talk, mistake we made in hindsight. Down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but then it's also like, 2010, this all started, and 15 years later, it's not in space. Or you could think about how,
I know, I was just going to say that I know in some of the northern European countries, they're actually doing more of a closed system, and they're doing it similar to what we call around here geothermal. And so they're keeping the water all in a closed system, and it goes down, it gets cooled, and it comes back.
okay,
And I guess I kind of feel that my feeling is it's like you say, it's going to happen, but I hate to see, I hate to see that we put in Fallen Timbers Mall, and when I was out there the other day, it's mostly empty, and that was all farmable land, or it could have been houses or something. And once it becomes something like that, or a dead data center, or a dead box center or something, it never goes back usually.
right.
And
Well, so I think that's where the conditional use comes in, like, because the city can, and I'm not saying I'm for data centers, I'm just trying to listen to all the things. Like, that conversation allowed me to hear some things that I hadn't considered. Because there's, he kind of warned, there's the end that, oh my gosh, we don't want it, it's all these terrible things. And then there's the end, oh, we want it, it's going to make us all this money. But the biggest portion is usually the in-between. But you don't hear about that. So, I feel like that needs to be talked about as well. Dave, you want to say
And then-
something?
Margot?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to chime in if it's okay.
Yeah.
Rich Carr reached out to me a couple months ago and asked me to join Anthony Wayne community Facebook group, and maybe you said that, I might have missed that, but it's actually quite a good group on Facebook. It has a lot of good articles posted about data centers and so forth. So I've been I've been reading a lot right now, just because this is, you're right, a very big issue. What I know to be true is that they almost always put an extra burden on residents as far as water costs and electrical costs. Much of what you said, and just their environmental footprint is huge, and it can be done in a way, I think it was Linda who was talking, that's a more sustainable way. And the cities that are on top of this are really slowing down the data centers until they make sure they have everything in place to make sure that they're sustainable. So this is great that we're on this topic. I'm thrilled to be part of any discussion. And if anyone wants that link to the Facebook page, I could at least share the name of the group, and then you could find your way to the group and try to join. But in Florida here, where I am, DeSantis is very anti-data centers, because he's very fearful of the burden they're going to put on the water resources in Florida, which I was a little surprised by his take on it, to be honest, because he's trying to protect the environment. So anyway, that's what I just wanted to contribute to the conversation, and I will forward the link to the Facebook group for anybody who would want to join.
Thank you.
AW crap.
What?
AW crap.
Crap?
Yeah.
Like CRAP?
Yeah, it's called
Okay.
Community Response Awareness.
Okay.
Got it.
What acronym?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Tom.
That's not, that's dirt. It's dirt. It's soil. I need to make, okay.
If somebody, do you mind coming to the microphone?
There you go.
Way out there. Okay,
Yeah.
so the mall's dying, right?
Yeah.
It's already developed. There's streets there, there's water there, there's power there.
Yeah.
Why take virgin land if we could scrape that off and make them reuse that land?
Well, right now,
It's an idea.
and there is someone in talks of buying it. There's like a, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'd rather
It's a
have
thought
that use than
outside
that.
the box. I know.
But I reuse,
I'm not
right?
yeah, reuse, reduce.
Not, yeah,
all the
not
things.
open farmland.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I would just urge caution and being proactive about things, not letting us fall into something because we aren't ready for it, or that would be, I would like to take mommy to take the time to really think about it and to see how it's affecting other areas before we decide one way or the other.
Yeah, that was going to be
So-
my point, is really look into how would a data center affect residents as far as electricity rates and water rates. Can Maumee do things to make it more sustainable and make it supply its own energy instead of pulling from the grid?
Yeah.
For example, have it build a solar farm to power itself, or some kind of geothermal energy system to power itself instead of pulling directly from the grid. That way residents aren't competing with the data center for energy.
And the guy who spoke at the planning commission, he said that they don't, but they produce their electricity with fossil fuels, and so
Yeah,
it's like, that's not any better.
Well, so he said that, and then he said the exact opposite in the next sentence.
Yeah.
Because he said they use natural gas, which most articles I've read, they make a natural gas power plant. So,
The-
along with the
The
data
other
center.
thing for things like this, if we're going to take the time, if the city of Maumee decides to take the time, I know I've heard this passed around before, but I think we've reached the point where it's time we start, when somebody wants to build something, a business, that we have them pay a bond, what it would take, what it would cost that day to tear it down. And then the city has that bond, and that bond, when it's time to tear it down, so when you have a Kmart that dies or a Walmart that dies, you have invested that money so that you have it to tear down. And it doesn't become a burden of the city. And I think you can just drive into Toledo and see how that burden works, because it is.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, I mean, the parking lot that's still there
Yeah.
with out where the Value City was, that's an example. And people definitely have an inability to have any sort of vision for a property that has something still on it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
usually
Or something ugly.
usually if someone is trying to spur redevelopment for a property, they take it to dirt, put grass on it, and then suddenly people are interested because they were just incapable of seeing it with anything else on it. And they don't want the cost of readying the land before then building whatever it is that they want. So another, once again, I'm not for this. I'm just trying to share some of the information that was. But so everyone is talking about taking time. So when I hear that, that's what you would call a moratorium, because that's the only way you get time. So right now, it's a permitted use. I always want to say primary. It's a permitted use, so you can just do it.
In certain-
Data centers are allowed in that area that they're talking
Yes.
about. Planning Commission put to council, we've voted on it twice now, for conditional use. So that allows you to give conditions
Yeah.
that need to be met.
And it would have to come before a planning commission instead of the city being able to just work on it internally.
Yeah.
good,
Getting time would be a moratorium.
yeah.
Now, I'm obviously for moratoriums. I've voted for them while on council.
Bless you.
Bless you. But one thing I have learned about, like having experience with that now, and something I had said in the past, but, saying it's one thing and actually getting done is another, is we need to set a time period. But during that time period, there actually needs to be action and research done and decisions made and something created that has all of our, requirements. So, we can't, because some people will do a moratorium and take the time to scare off the people interested because they know they won't wait around a year or 6 months. So sometimes it's just like a delay game to try to get people to leave. I don't like any sort of games. That's just my opinion. I feel like if a moratorium is done, there should be action steps, a time frame, and something should come out of that time frame so that you can then say, this is our criteria.
And this may not be this committee's, but that's something I think we as a city, should be thinking about, because it just becomes our burden. And I don't want to become like Toledo. I like Toledo, I worked there, but I don't want to, I mean, I can tell you 5 places I see being torn down right now, and the city's tearing them down. And they have to get money to do that. And it's just people that just left. And-
Well, sometimes it's a matter of they file bankruptcy.
Oh, I know, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If
Yeah. Yeah.
if we as a community became proactive and said, yes, you can do that, but you have to put a bond up, and usually a bond means it goes invested, and then when your business is done, we have money to tear it down, and it doesn't become a burden of the residents.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
So another thought that was shared was, so for example, for schools, I don't know how much experience you guys have, but like, so I've got a bunch of family and education, and schools can get real upset sometimes when residential gets built, houses or apartments, because they might not have the room, the room in the schools for an increase in, students at the school. So it was shared that, this is something that can come in and does generate property taxes, which property taxes help the schools. They get way more in property taxes than like the city does. So it's like, I think 60% is given to the schools, the property taxes for the breakdown. The city gets like 4%, 6%, something like that. Now we have the fire thing, so that's a little like extra that goes directly to fire. But so schools could potentially, like, because you get the property taxes from that going in, but you don't have the enrollment, which, I mean, places like Anthony Wayne and Perrysburg, they don't need more kids. I think they need to build more buildings, don't have space right now. But so that's like something to consider as well. But, I talked about how we're doing the conditional use, and he thought that was a good idea, because then you can figure out what things you need to consider, like the water usage, the power usage, what's the economic value to the community, buffering. So we've talked about buffering and the Akira Miyawaki method of the mini forest. So like they did them in Japan, and like in industrial like companies and areas, they do a huge band of buffering. So like it's like a wooded band essentially around the property that cuts down on noise, takes away the visual, that people don't like. It cleans the air from particulates. It cuts down on the heat because trees naturally cool. There's like a lot of benefits that you could have something behind this thing of trees that no one sees. I mean, that you could potentially not see, and it could cut a lot of negative effects. It could take those away. So like considering things like that, and then like clean energy, like, okay, what if you have to put solar panels all over your roofs or, whatever. But Isaiah, can you go, please? Thanks.
So that the area they're looking at, that it's actually would only benefit Anthony Wayne schools,
Yeah.
Mommy schools, so.
Correct.
And also, I think was it Temacog, for the pathway behind Waterside? Is it, that's one of the area, like intertwining pathways, one of those. Is actually, one of those pathways is right there. I was at one of the residents in Waterside. It's at the back of it, right where that property is. And people are running up and down, and just a wide open field and railroad tracks right now. It's really close to their
Oh, the
backyard.
Wabash Cannonball Trail.
Yeah. So that is like one of the main properties they're looking at. It's really close to residents that are, 6 to 55 and older in that community. So
Right.
that's why it's like a little concerning, because it's like right on top of them.
Right.
To be able to do the dense foresty, like, to buffer, it wouldn't be big enough area for that, for that data center there to be able to,
If you did a decent belt, like buffering belt along with the
Yeah,
building.
it wouldn't be, you wouldn't be able to big enough one for the property itself, because it's not really that big of a property.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And because the residents are right there. So that's one of the concerns. And like, it is kind of for this panel, because it is an, environmental. It's, we have our main artery of Maumee River, which is right down the street from where any kind of runoff, any kind of anything,
to
antifreeze,
the
blah,
Great
blah, it
Lakes.
goes right into our, we're right at the forefront of getting our main water source for this entire region of Northwest, of the state. So that's my biggest concerns, and like I saw, you talk about the moratorium, looking at that would at least give us time for other communities. I'd rather be a proactive for innovative stuff instead of just putting these blocks of buildings everywhere and then be a guinea pig for something that, I'd rather be something that develops an area, our community, and like provides, rather than just putting these blocks of buildings and then it just becomes just blocks of buildings, like you said, like they just become, 11 years is what they're saying, and then they're obsolete, and then they're just giant tombstones of data centers everywhere.
Yeah,
You know-
there's no, as far as I can see, there's not really a second use for the buildings.
There is
They're-
none.
they're
It's just
so
basically a building with a
strangely
bunch of
built
pipes and everything else in it, and it's just one giant building with, it's not like a big giant warehouse where you walk in like, oh, I can use the space. No, it's
Right.
just pipes everywhere. So that's, that's why, obviously coming into council after the new year, something to look into, because being proactive for the community rather than just reactive because the money is right there
Right.
is the old bait and switch. I'd rather do, like, you're talking to people, you're saying you're not for it, but just we're doing our homework so that we're not being just, kind of baited to it too
Well,
early.
And these are the first things that I've ever said
Yeah.
that have seemed even remotely like it supports it.
Yeah.
Because the reuse is an issue for me.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, like, I am starting to see, like, some creative reuses of, like, mall space. I just saw an article the other day. There's issues with downtowns where, people are in their cities where people are not working in the buildings anymore. They're working from home. They're trying to figure out how to reuse those buildings.
Yeah.
So there's always an issue of reuse and how you're going to use something. And obviously a building like that is way less, I feel like it would be a lot harder to imagine a reuse than for like a how many story building in a downtown.
Yeah.
It's in a good area and, has bathrooms and because there's people there and all the things. But no, and another article that, I read the other day and was sharing is, it was talking about, I think out in Washington, there's, they were having issues with water contamination. And, I forget if it was like, nitrates or, and Linda left, I shared it with her too. Sulfate, whatever it was something we're already having issue with in the Maumee River that's causing the big dead zone and the algal bloom. And yes, in the Great Lakes. So they talked about how in that area, not only was it there, so I think they were reusing water when they would send it back out, it was concentrated. So whatever chemicals were in it were extra concentrated because of that. And it was just adding to the issues they already had. So they already had contaminants from agriculture and other things kind of upstream. I completely agree with all the things that you guys are saying. It's just, someone at the council meeting the other night said something about take a year and figure out figure out anything that could happen. And it's like, well, if you take New Albany, for example, they've been around for 15 years. They haven't figured it all out. So a year is not going to figure out all the things, and it's not going to give us all the answers. No. We won't know if it's going to be in space in a year. But, so there's we can say a year, but it's not going to figure out all the things. As long as we can get as much figured out as we think is necessary that makes us feel good about the situation, that's the main thing. But all the things will not be figured out. And a decision's going to have to be made without all the things figured out.
Do we know the lifespan they're planning for this data center? How long it would be in use, the size of it, any of that?
So this is my other negative thing I always say about that. Usually anything technology related, even before you start building the thing, it's already outdated.
Yeah.
So it's going to be outdated before it's finished, I'm sure. So I'm sure not very long.
So just a general, there's only one community that I think that has kind of been progressive towards it would be Oregon. I'm not sure about Toledo because they don't have, the only footprint they have anywhere would be just north of downtown, the Greenbelt area. But by that, whatever, but generally, everything west, all the communities, they've been pressuring municipalities to stray away from it. So the thing is of saying, well, if we don't get it, someone else will, it won't be necessarily in our.
Not in our area,
In our
state of
county.
Ohio in general.
Well, in
is
our
what he was
county
saying.
at least, I
Yeah.
think it's been a big push not to have them. So it also is like a double-edged sword. If you, hey, mommy says, okay, you know what, I think we want to do this, it'd be another bad look on mommy to take, because I know Richfield Township, which is Evergreen, they offered them a new fire truck and $900,000. That sounds like a weird,
It's
you
not
know.
very much.
I know it's not a lot. But that's what they offered their little.
That's
town-
very short-sighted.
Yeah, so they turned it all down because they found out what was going on they got planning, or the planning commission, or zoning commission changed zoning for it, and then got caught wind from residents, and then they went and filed it, whatever, for 10 days, and they got it taken off or whatever, because they filed a referendum or something like that. Anyway, the big, to be proactive too soon when everyone else is, to have one and everyone else is stepping back would be kind of a bad issue. So 1 year, just give them the whole 1 year and let the whole thing, because it's, like you said, it's on the news now, on national news of big pushback in data centers in Ohio and nationally. To be one of a community that just jumps in right now would be kind of not a good idea. I don't think.
Well, at the federal level, they're talking about how you should not be not allowing AI
Yeah.
too. So it's starting to come up at the
Yeah.
federal level too.
Yeah.
And there seems to be push about not allowing communities to decide. So we're going to see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, I'm sure.
Well, when I was saying, I think mommy should be proactive, I meant
Yeah, oh, no,
taking
yeah, yeah.
steps to,
Yeah,
protect
no. I'm
ourselves.
saying both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proactive for it, proactive, to like do due diligence, just, both ways.
Yeah.
Well, because you should be thinking about both. It's
Yeah.
like whenever you approach a problem, you do like, at least
Yeah.
I do, I love lists, pros and cons.
Yeah.
And see what are some solutions to any of the above. I mean, that's what he was saying when I talked to him. It's like, you have to be careful only listening to one side, and especially any one super, side this way, any one far side that way.
Yeah.
And try to listen to more kind of the middle ground, and like, you make decisions based on that.
Yeah, like if you come in from Indiana and you come into Ohio from 24, you see all these giant windmills. If you're from us, and we go like, man, those things are hideous, but the people around there actually
love
probably don't
I
mind
love them.
Some people do, some people don't. Some people are like, that's
my favorite.
Oh, my sister hates them. She was like back home where I'm from. They had a big push in Seneca County. They didn't want
Yeah.
windmills, and they do not have them currently.
Yeah, like my brothers in Findlay, they have them around there.
California has them everywhere.
Yeah,
Iowa has them. I remember driving
everywhere.
through, taking
Yeah.
pictures. Costa Rica has
Well,
them.
I'm just saying, like, if you're not familiar with them, then
Yeah.
you're obviously, the first thing is a pitchfork again, just, hell, not in my backyard, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. So, yeah.
The way I see it, though, it's not something that, like you said, it's not going to go away. If we take a year, it's still going to be an option in a year if that's what the city decides.
Yeah.
It's not like we're losing out on our only opportunity if we were to
No.
take time right now.
I mean, I can just speak from working at the University of Toledo. We're all about the cloud computing things. We work on different parts of the campus, and that's how we share files and communicate is all that cloud computing. And that stuff's just not going to go away for businesses and stuff like that. So, I mean, the big debate is, like she was saying, the pros and the cons. Do the positives outweigh the negatives? Do the negatives outweigh the positives? And I think that's what Mommy needs to take the time to really figure out.
That said, right now, everything's operating just fine, right?
Yeah.
But the amount of push of data centers, more and more, they're like arming up for ginormous.
Oh, I mean, there's
Because AI is taking over.
AI,
Yeah.
it's the growth of AI, it's the growth of cloud computing, it's the lack of better term, smartification of every device is driving this need for all these data centers. But, oh, sure, I mean, but that's a different, that's a different conversation. But
Yes.
it's just, the question,
on about
the
that.
question is, would the things like the tax revenue from the building, would that be worth it? Can we offset the negatives? Can we do things like make them use renewable energy? Can we build buffer zones with the forests and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Those are the things that I think the city really does need to
Right,
look
and
into.
so the example you gave said no to the buffer zone, so that's a very good thing to consider.
good
So
data.
that place doesn't, maybe won't make sense for that reason. So, but going through all those things.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my, I have a lot of uneasiness about AI. You and I can talk about that another time.
Oh, I don't like
But like, but
Skeeves me out.
when it comes to energy usage, from an environmental standpoint, that's something I've been interested in for a very long time. We need to not use so much energy is where I've been. Like, I'm someone that hangs my clothes up to dry, so I don't use the dryer. I try to cut back on energy usage. Turn lights off, you name it. Use LED bulbs, all the things. And then this comes about and it's using all this energy, freaked me out. It's like we're supposed to be cutting back on energy usage and instead we're skyrocketing it. I mean, so yeah, there's lots of things to consider. But, okay, well, so this was a good discussion. Does anyone else want to give one last point before we adjourn?
I just have a handout. I'm a member of Partners for Clean Your Streams. And I asked them to put together just a list of programs that are available. And so I have a copy that I can give to everyone, and we can talk about it later.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so we talked earlier, I said we had quite a long list of items. So it would, like we've been doing with other things the past few meetings, I thought it'd be good to kind of bring it up. We can get the information, look at it, and then the next agenda, potentially kind of talk more about it. So what was your thought with this though, Bill? Is seeing how maybe Maumee could participate in some of the things that Partners for Clean Streams offers, or
Yes.
is that, okay?
Yeah, one of the main things that they do is, once a year, they do a massive volunteer cleanup of the Maumee watershed. And Perrysburg really gets involved, and Maumee doesn't. So it's our opportunity to be part of that, but also they have programs that can help the city with water monitoring, and that's something that that I think we should look at.
Well, so, I mean, quick look, fishing line recycling bins.
Well,
My husband
some-
fishes the river.
there are some down on the river, but we are putting more in.
Okay,
We're probably putting 4 to 6 more of those
Okay.
tubes in this spring before the walleye come upstream. If we ever get any more water in the river.
Are those?
Just a little bit
emptied
more.
Periodically, because I've come across them when they're full.
Yes, we will start monitoring, and people will be involved in
Excellent.
emptying them. And what's nice about that is the material that's in there then gets sent to a manufacturer who melts
Yeah.
all this stuff down and then makes new fishing line out of it. Or
Recycles.
whatever, yeah. So,
Great.
and I walked along the river last night, and I pulled out a wad of fishing line and at least a dozen dollflies. And so, that's something that that can be done on a daily basis, really. There's a program that they call CYS 365, and that's where individuals can call up Clean Your Streams and get get implements, gloves, garbage bags.
I organized one for my church a
There
year
you
or two
go.
ago.
Okay.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
like keep Toledo Lucas County beautiful.
Yeah.
You can get all
Yeah,
the
it is,
supplies.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So, and Keep Toledo Lucas County Beautiful is a member of Clean Your Stream.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for that, Bill.
Sure.
So everyone, please take a look at that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it more in
Next
future
year.
meetings. And the director is very willing to come in and talk about it.
That's who you and I met with before, right?
Yes.
Jesse? Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. At 6:24 PM. And can I get a second?
I'll second. Third.
So I'll call the roll. Bill? We're adjourning. Just say yes.
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 Jody, thank you.
You bet. Thanks for your phone.
Yep.
Thanks,
We'll talk to you
Jody.
later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Jamie?
Yes.
Steve?
Yep.
Linda left. Mark?
Yes.
Myself, yes. And Rob?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a happy holidays.
Next meeting is January